Good afternoon, one and all, virtually present in the session today. Hope everyone's had a good October month and are now headed to an exciting November. So, after our successful first round of Town Hall last month, I would like to welcome our second session of Town Hall. So, thank you for joining us today. Just like last time, we will be having two of our district leaders speak to you today, which will be followed by a question and answer forum where you can ask your questions to both the leaders. Now, this time around, we have a small improvement for our Q&A session as suggested by our fellow well-wisher Toastmasters. So you may put your questions in the chat session and our Town Hall moderators will prompt you to ask your questions yourself to the leader speakers one by one. And so with no further ado, please welcome our first leader speaker this afternoon, our very own Program Quality Director, Karl Hughes.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Namrita. Well, we have a small group by the looks, an intimate group, which is good. I can see a few faces here, and there's a few people obviously still not have their PJs yet. They've got their cameras off, which is fine. That's okay. Sit back and relax. Now, these town halls have been put together so that we can connect the district leadership team with a lot of the members. And in the room today, we actually have a lot of district leaders come along as well. So this is great for what I'm talking about. I'll be able to talk at a district leader level, but also at the grassroots member level if you're not involved in leadership in any way, which is great. Now, these town halls have been put together for transparency. So we want to make sure that at leadership level, we're open. You can see what's going on. It gives you a chance to connect with the various leadership people. So you can ask questions, and you can ask questions about anything. If we are able to answer it on the spot, we will. If not, we will get back to you. And finally, it gives us an opportunity for us to be able to inform you about different things. And this is what I'd like to do today, is inform you about something. Because when Namrita asked me to speak about something in the town hall today, I thought, what can I speak about? I often speak about leadership and branding and accountability, and I thought, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do district level perspective versus club level perspective. And how I want to do that is I want everybody, and this will be really good for the current district leaders to get inside my head, as scary as that will be, but also for the members out there to, for a moment, for the next 10 minutes or so, to put yourself into the mind of a district leader. So what I want to do is I want you to put the glasses on and look through the lens of a district leader. So I want you to put the glasses on, and you can look as cool as you want. Now, I'm not going to keep these on because I can no longer see anything because it's very dark. These sunglasses are very good. So like the meeting, we are going to have virtual glasses that we're going to put on. And what I'm going to do to enable this is I am going to talk in a way of using a metaphor. And the metaphor I'm going to use is a house, specifically a clubhouse. And in this case, a Toastmasters clubhouse. Okay, so let's start. Now, the first thing when you are building a house, the first thing that you need to have, the most important aspect is what? The foundation. That's what everything gets built on. And in this case, the foundation, the most important aspect that I'm looking through from my lens is the member. It's the Toastmasters member, the existing member, members who are coming through. It's so important for us that we focus on building that strength in that foundation, the members in our clubs. Now, help me out here. We've got the foundation down. What comes next? And if there's any building people out there, we're not getting into any construction details. Let's keep this really ABC simple. If we got the foundation, what do we build on top of that? What else is in a house around us?
Walls?
Walls. Thank you very much. As simple as that, as I said, it's just ABC. We have walls around us, and we have 4 walls. If we have 1, 2, or 3 walls, it's going to get a bit cold or a bit hot depending on the season, but also it's going to be very unstable. It's going to crumble and the house is going to fall down. So we have 4 walls. And the way I look at it through my lens, each of those walls stands for something. The first wall is education. When a member comes through, or we have existing members, so a new member or existing members, what we focus on with one of those walls to make our clubhouse strong is education. The second wall is leadership, the leadership of the club. Now, this is the club officers, obviously, the committee or executive of the club, but it's also individuals. Each one of us contributes to a club in our own personal leadership style. So the next one there was leadership for the club. The third wall is community, the social aspect. We all like being with other members and building a community, being part of something, and that's so important for a club. And the fourth and final wall, because remember we need 4, is results, the outcomes that we get for our members. Now, as I mentioned before, the 4 walls are very important. I look at that when I'm looking across the district and the clubs, and this is what the district leadership team are looking at, because you need all 4 of them. If you've got very good education happening in a club, say, and the other walls are good, but the community, the social aspect isn't there, then it's probably not going to be as friendly, as welcoming for people. And particularly guests coming in, they may not want to join up. But if you're very focused in a club on the social aspect and perhaps not the education, what you've got really there is a social club. It's a coffee club. And you'll find the people who come to Toastmasters wanting the education probably won't stick around. You'll get some people, and you'll get people who've been with clubs for many years, but you'll get a lot of turnover in those clubs. So it's important we have those 4 for stability in that house. Now, the results are important because here is some stats that you may not know that came out about the traditional program we had, where we used the manuals, the competent communicator manuals, just before moving on to pathways. And these stats are quite amazing and scary in a way. And these came from World Headquarters. For the competent communicator manual, which was basically 10 speeches, so if you equivalent that across to pathways, equate that across to pathways, that's 10 speeches, less than 10% of people finished that manual. Less than 10%. That's scary when you think of it. Now, this is a global stat, by the way. It's not a District 73 stat. It's a global one. Now, the competent leader manual, which had activities such as being a Toastmaster for the meeting, an evaluator, being an area director, or a club officer, those sort of activities. If we look at that one, less than 2% completed that, which kind of makes sense because people come for the speaking, perhaps not for the leadership. But even so, less than 2%, that's scary. But even more scarier is the advanced manuals. You would start to go on to more advanced ones, storytelling, persuasive speaking, things like that. In other words, the other levels of pathways, less than 1%. Now that's scary. So if you're holding a DTM or striving for a DTM or near a DTM, you are in the category from the old system. I don't know what it is currently because it's so new, was less than 1%. So you're within a pretty elite group. And this is one of the reasons why Pathways was brought in. There's a few reasons, but this was one of the reasons to try and get greater engagement with people coming through to stick around. So again, results is an important part of those 4 walls. Once we've got those walls up, keeping it simple, what else do we need? Oh yes, thank you very much. The roof. Absolutely. We need a roof over our heads. The roof protects us. And what is the roof in this case, in my metaphor? It is Toastmasters International. That is what protects us. Now, Toastmasters International, as that roof, provides some things for us in the way of protection, and that protection is quality. It gives us quality. It gives us governance, good governance and operating protocols. So how do we work with each other? What is our code of conduct? What do we do if we have to go into disciplinary action? How do we deal with payments? How do we vote people into a club? How do we get them out of a club? How do we vote people into club officers? All these things are the governance of running a club in the district. And at district level, we have many rules and regulations that we have to do regarding running the district financially, etc., etc. So it's the governance and operating protocols, but it's also things like the brand, following the brand, the guidelines for the brand, the visual brand, how we use the logo, the corporate colors, etc. But the brand is more than that. It's also the systems that we use within the clubs, how we do the Toastmastering, how we do table topics, how we use pathways. All these sort of things are the systems that help us with the operation of a club. Now, if we don't do that well, we have a bad roof, which means we can get all sorts of leaks and things happening. So we want to make sure our clubs have a strong roof. So we've got that base, the foundation, the member, that's so important we build everything on. We have those 4 walls around us, the education, the leadership, the social, and the results. And then we have the roof, which is Toastmasters International itself. Now, every club will have those 3 elements, every club. But there's a 4th element that we then have, which is a little bit different between every club. And that is how you are going to furnish your house, how you are going to paint the walls or do retro or put wallpaper up. What sort of furniture you're using? Is it going to be antique? Is it going to be colonial? Is it going to be modern where it's glass and steel and things like that? That's up to you or the clubs, because they are the members. They are how they want the personality of their club. Now we have a door and windows into their house. Guests will come along and look through those windows. And are they going to like what they see? Are they going to like the furniture? Do they see the walls being strong and the roof strong? If they come through the door, you want them to stay. You want them to stand out, sign up and be part of the house, living in that house, in your clubhouse. But if things aren't what they want, they're going to keep the eye on that door. As soon as the meeting's over, they've gone through that door and they won't be coming back. So this is very important to think about how you present the club. You also need to advertise it. If you want people to come in, say like a house to let, you've got to advertise it, or else they're not going to know it's there and they're going to drive past. So at district level, these are all things that we're thinking about. But what's very important is that we want these clubhouses to be strong and stable. So we're providing knowledge and tools to help clubs do that. But we need the clubs to do it themselves. Be self-reliant, not have somebody come in to help repair for them. Clubs need to be doing this themselves. It's expensive if district has to do this because, one, we don't have time. There's only a small amount of us to deal with well over 100 clubs, 140 odd clubs. So we don't have time, but that's only a small reason. You will lose people, or these clubs will lose people, because they can see that the clubs can't do it themselves. So they won't stay around. And also that they will see that they're going to be always dependent. There's no self-reliance there. There's the old saying about the old fish. I can give a fish to someone to feed a person for a day, but if I teach that person how to fish, then they can feed themselves for a lifetime. And that's the big takeaway from a district and club level. District is wanting clubs to be self-sufficient where we can support them, be self-reliant. It also means if you've got a strong clubhouse, when the winds of change come blowing your way, they will not blow down. We've just had a COVID cyclone come and some clubs, houses have been blown down. Other ones who are strong and self-reliant, they've been affected a bit, but they're busy repairing, maintaining, and building more now. So we need to be self-reliant with our community. And Namrita's job is building more houses. That's part of her role as Club Growth Director. We want to build more communities, more houses, so people can live in them and get the benefits of what we do. You can take your glasses off now, your cool sunglasses, your virtual ones. I'm running out of time. That's giving you a bit of an idea how district, and particularly myself, through a metaphor, look at the district and clubs and trying to be very, very strong. We live in challenging times, but having that challenge brings change, which brings chances, and chances are opportunities for us to continue to build. Please plug into the training that we have, the virtual training. We're getting between 20 to 40 people turning up. We should be having 200 people turning up to this, because it helps people build clubs and helps you and other members build as well with transferable skills that you can take outside in the community. I hope you found that interesting, a little different way of doing it than usual. And I will now pass back to Namrita. And if you have any questions, pop them into that chat box. And at the end, we'll see if I can answer them for you. Thank you, Namrita.
Thank you very much, Karl. Thank you for those thought-provoking insights and some great knowledge sharing. I would like to request our fabulous audience to unmute and applaud our leader speaker for sharing some great insights with us. I'm sure it might have been louder if you would have been in person together. Thank you, everyone, for keeping the spirits high. I'm assuming everyone listening and attending this session is keeping the spirits high. Moving on, my friends, please put your hands together for our lovely District 73 Public Relations Manager, Neha Pandey.
Thank you, Namrita, and a very good afternoon to all of you all present here today. I step in today to talk about what Karl said, letting out the clubhouse, or the district house, if I may say. And that is where I step in the role of public relations manager, to advertise and to publicize about district house and, in effect, our member clubs. I will start off by talking about my goals in the chair of the public relations manager for District 73. A public relations manager is supposed to promote the district. It is supposed to engage the existing members of the district. It is also supposed to motivate, educate, and inform both the existing members as well as the new members who've recently walked in through the doors. At the same time, the biggest job of a public relations manager is publicizing and promoting the district and the member clubs to be able to attract potential members, those master procrastinators who are just too busy daydreaming about Toastmasters while they are being couch potatoes. We are talking about those people. So it is our job as public relation managers, and actually each of our jobs as Toastmasters also, to be able to engage and attract potential members to the Toastmasters community. In my case, how do I decide to go about achieving these goals? Well, if y'all are a member of our Facebook private group, or any other, or are following the district on any of the other social media platforms, you would know that I am creating content, and I have decided to engage our community and our district members through content creation and through promotion of the Toastmasters brand. Why social media? Well, it is the easiest platform to be able to tap a very wide range of audience, and which is the kind of range that we are looking for to attract new members to Toastmasters community, because we can have members from every walk of life, and we can have members who are anywhere between the ages of 18 and maybe 80, 100, I don't know. So anyone and everyone can be a Toastmaster. And hence, to be able to reach out to that wide range of people, so social media is the easiest platform and the least expensive of all today. Why am I doing what I'm doing? That is promoting Toastmasters and the district via content creation. Well, a few months back, I think it was in the month of August, Toastmasters International had shared this quote by former business journalist and now an author, Mr. John Card, which said that in this age, this digital age, if you want to publicize or promote anything, it can be Toastmasters, it can be some other community you are engaged with, it can be your own personal brand, maybe as an individual consultant or a freelancer. It can be a business, an organization. Anything that needs publicizing and promotion in this digital age has to get involved in content creation. People are looking for meaningful content to engage, to devour, to gain knowledge from, and hence that is the best way forward to engage and make noise, like I always say, on social media. I just latched onto that quote and I thought, wow, this is a brilliant validation of what I plan to do in the district public relations manager's role. This apart, I had some experience of content creation for my personal LinkedIn page, and that had paid off in the last 1 year. So I said, why not? Let's do that. Let's inform people. Let's educate people and engage with them. However, as a district and as part of the district team, our main focus was meaningful promotion. Promotion that will not only help in growth in the number of our members, it will also have a wider positive impact. It will engage with the existing members and gain loyalty. At the same time, meaningful promotions were also aimed at conveying the district's message and emphasizing on Toastmasters' mission. Now, the obvious question at this time would be, has this strategy paid off in the last 4 months? I will answer that with a resounding yes. I'm extremely happy and excited to inform you all today that in the last 4 months, we have added an average of 40 new followers per social media account, barring YouTube, but that's a different case altogether. So whether it is on our Facebook private group, which is what we all are a part of and we keep posting, or it is the external page, or the Twitter handle, or the Instagram handle, or the 2 pages that we have on LinkedIn, each of these pages have added an average of 40 new members, which is really big. That apart, our content is constantly seeing an average of 100 views per social media page. Again, a big number to come by. There is a decent amount of engagement happening on our content. However, I can start off with urging to y'all today that please ensure every time you see a piece of content, engage with it. And let me give you a little insight here. Engagement on social media these days is no longer limited to just reading the content and scrolling down your social media page, your Facebook page or LinkedIn page. It is also no longer restricted to just liking the content and moving on with life. Social media algorithm in the last 1 year has been tweaked a little to the extent that engagements, and especially in the form of comments, have more value than engagements in the form of likes or simply views. This apart, of course, engagements in any form, of course, also increases the shelf life of posts, and I'm not taking that away at all. But I would urge you all to comment, even if it means just leaving a thumbs up emoji in the comment section, or maybe thumbs down if you don't like the content. You are feel free to voice your opinion about a content. You may not like it, you may not find it useful. Please tell us. That way we learn as a team to cater to our audience. Right now, it is more of a black hole where I'm just posting content. People who like it, people who don't like it, they don't really respond to it. And if I know that you are not liking a certain kind of content, I may try to work on it, revise it. Maybe I try to do a better job of it. Maybe we brainstorm for new ideas that will help us grow as a team and will help us serve you better as part of the district team. So please engage, share content if you like it. I understand that every time you cannot be sharing each piece of content on social media, but if you do, nothing like it. You are helping us increase the shelf life of our content. And in return, you are helping us promote our district better. But having said that, the main point here is that in the initial months, given it's just been 4 months now, our main idea was to start making noise on social media, and we are totally on track with it. So good job. Now comes another important job that a public relations manager has, that of a brand custodian. Anybody in the public relations manager's role is supposed to protect the Toastmasters brand. Along with the club growth director, and of course the program quality director and the district director, the public relations manager, along with the other extended team too, we are not supposed to allow wrong usage of brand colors or brand font in the public domain. In this case, I'm talking about social media. Many of y'all may have noticed and may have heard from me or from Namrita in the past, wherein we have notified people of wrong usage of brand colors on their Facebook posts. Well, that is all a part of our duty. And we by no means want to discourage you from posting on Facebook, on the Facebook group. It is just that we want all of us to be careful about our usage of the brand colors and the brand font. Because it may be a part of my job as a public relations manager to protect the brand, but it is as much your responsibility as a Toastmaster to be a brand custodian. Each one of us, because we are a part of the Toastmasters community, we are supposed to, like I said earlier, not just promote our content and promote the district and promote Toastmasters, but also protect its brand. The way out of this is to refer to the brand guidelines that is there on Toastmasters International website. It will give you a good sense of the kind of the sense of the colors and the font that you're supposed to use when you're posting content on Facebook. Or if you are even a little confused about that, please feel free to write to me, call me, ping me at any point in the day, and I'm happy to help you. That is my job. I will leave my contact details in the chat section. If you ever want to call me or write to me and ask me anything about the whole brand guidelines thing and how to go about getting the right color, I'm happy to help you with that. That apart, a little tip here. When you are posting about an upcoming training or a workshop or any kind of session on Facebook private group, I'd suggest, because that group is meant to notify other members of the district about events, about things happening, about questions that you may have, maybe stick to content only post. Because a private group is not where you have to put out nice, attractive photos for members to take notice of your content. No, that is not the idea of a private group. Private groups are supposed to be only notifying people. So anybody who sees your content will read it. Anybody who's a part of the private group on Facebook. That apart, say you still want to have a colorful photo accompanying your post on Facebook. The easiest way out, and I practice it myself, is to go to Toastmasters International website and download their PowerPoint presentation template. That way, you don't have to fumble with the font. You don't have to bother about the shade, the color code or the color shades. It is all fed into the PowerPoint template. And all you have to do is just pick one slide and make whatever content that you want on that slide, or maybe pick the entire template, whatever that you feel comfortable with, whatever you like in the templates that are given. And that way, all you have to do is just concentrate on the content that you're planning to post and not concentrate on and not have to fumble around with the peripheral matters, and also not get notified by either the CGD or myself or anybody else from the district team. That's the easiest way to go about posting content. And I will highly, highly recommend you download the PowerPoint presentation template and just feel free to post whatever content you have. But like I said, I will remind again, please be careful about the brand colors and the brand font that you are using. And I'm not discouraging you. In fact, I'll be more than happy. I'm highly, highly encouraging you all to post on the Facebook group, because that is why the group is there, to notify each other of what we are planning to do, of the events coming up and this and that. But just be a little careful about the Toastmasters brand and fonts, and go through the brand guidelines, or I'm here to help. Like I said, I will leave my contact details in the chat section. You can call me, ping me, write to me at any point in time, and I'm really happy to help. With that, over to you, Namrita. Thank you so much for being so patient with me.
Fellow Toastmasters, let's not shy away from doing what we all do best. Please applaud your way for our district PR manager for sharing those important tips that will help us make our clubs better and better in this virtual world.
Thank you.
And with this, we would like to open the town hall for question and answer forum from our fellow district 73 Toastmasters. Over to you, Danielle.
First of all, we have a poll that you should now be seeing about your experience today, and then we will get going with questions and answers. If you have any questions or you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand using the reactions if you want, or type into the chat that you'd like to ask one of our leaders a question. And we've got a couple of extra leaders here as well, so if you want to ask them a question that you don't think our two speakers will answer, we've got backup. So I see that Ivana has unmuted. I presume you're ready to ask a question. I'll just give us 10 more seconds for the poll, and then we'll get ready for questions. And the poll is completely anonymous, so we have no idea who's answering anything. So please feel free to give your honest opinion. We want to provide the best for you as our members. All right, thank you very much. I'm ending the polling now. And now, Ivana, if you'd like to ask your question.
Thanks, Danielle. So I just wanted to ask Karl if there is any early indication about the engagement in the Pathways program, because you've mentioned that one of the reasons for Toastmasters International to move from CC manuals and toll system was to make it more contemporary, but also increase that engagement, because yes, the numbers less than 10% and then less than 2 is really almost scary. But I just would be interested to hear if there is any preliminary indication, because Pathways would now be around for more than 2 years. And my feeling in the club is, I'm a member of 2 clubs, it's like mixed reaction and experience with Pathways. So if you could maybe share anything you may have heard.
Yeah, no, a very good question. And I don't have any stats, and I haven't seen any stats. And if any other leader has, please put up your hand. But I will investigate that. I have a meeting with another 8 districts this afternoon, and the region advisor, and one of the international director board members is part of that meeting as well. So I will actually put that forward if they've got some information. I guess one of the things that we need to be aware of, that with the traditional program, that's been around for a long time. So they can do a really good longitudinal, which means just over a very long period, study on that. Now, although Pathways has been over 2 years, it is still fairly new. And during that transition stage, there was some people on Pathways, there were some people going over, people were trying to grapple with the newness of it. And also the big difference is that we've just been hit with COVID, the crisis. So it's not a normal operating year that we've been into that we can add to that study, where we can say, okay, people are not really sticking. It's less than 10% again, whatever, with Pathways, when in this case, no matter what would have been in there, no matter how good it was, people are leaving because of what's happened with COVID and their jobs and all sorts of things. However, again, I will ask some questions because I think that would be really good to know if TI World Headquarters has done anything about that. And if so, I will publish them. I'll put it on the Facebook group, but I will also put it onto the newsletter as well. Make sure you're always looking at that newsletter because there's interesting content in there. Kwan's doing a great job with that newsletter at the moment, and I will put something in there if I can find something. But great question.
Thank you, Karl.
Thank you very much, Ivana. So one of the questions we have is, why do posts from district members need approval on the Facebook group? And I'll hand that over to Neha.
Sure, thanks, Danielle. District members need approval for posts. See, what has happened is we have many people from across the globe who are a part of our district Facebook group, which is the private group. Though we have some checks and balances in place before we let people join our group, in the past, we had a couple of experiences actually, where people from other districts, from other clubs, from other areas were posting details about their, but maybe I think competitions going on in their districts, about club meetings in their districts. And given our Facebook private group is meant for our members and meant for content that is pertaining to and helpful to our members, we decided to cut out, if I may say, those posts which were coming from the other districts and clubs, because they were just crowding our group, and we assumed that they were not very helpful for our club, our district members. So we decided to put an approval checkpoint there. And though there are events coming from other districts which we think are useful for our members, like recently there was this post about somebody taking up, I think it was about interview skills, some training workshop on interview skills, and we approved that for our district as well. So if any event we feel will be helpful for our members of our district, we definitely approve it. And in that, in that endeavor to not overcrowd our private Facebook group, we have gone to the extent of needing everyone to give an approval and needing everyone to get an approval for their posts on Facebook. And trust me, I'm mostly on top of it. Unless the posts have been put out really late in the night, then probably you'll get an approval the next day in the morning. But mostly I'm on top of it, and I try and approve all the posts from our district members as soon as I can. Over to you, Danielle.
Thank you so much, Neha. And you don't get away that easily because the next question is for you as well.
Okay.
One thing, the question is about if other people have content that they would like to supply you for sharing. Is there a way, like, are you prepared to have a team of people work with you, or what's your intention for all the stuff you're producing?
Okay, good question. So far, I have been doing on my own with the help of the trio. What I usually do is I prepare a content calendar for at least 3 months at a go, and I get it approved from the trio, and then go about making content on a weekly basis, and then getting their approval and putting it out on social media. As for supplying content, yes, I will be more than happy if you have any content, the kinds that we are posting out. And if you have any of those, I will be more than happy. You will make my life easy. So thank you in advance. Please feel free to leave me a mail saying this is what you were thinking, or this is a new idea that you have. You don't need to have the entire content planned out every time. You can just pop an idea and say, and see if I can use it. If I can, I will use it immediately. If no, I will let you know, or I will probably, flesh it out and use it at a later date. So yes, you can definitely supply ideas. You can supply content. I will be more than happy. As of now, I don't have a team that is helping me do it other than the trio and other district leaders, but I do try and ask for content. And I have been doing that as part of our district leadership team series, if you all have seen it on social media, where I source content from present and former district leaders about their experience in Toastmasters, about their experience with leadership. And I post that on social media. So that is about how much content I am sourcing from other people. But please feel free to feed me content. I'll be more than happy.
Thank you very much, Neha. Does anybody else have a question before I move on that they'd like to verbally ask? Feel free to unmute yourself.
Danielle, can I ask a question, or
Absolutely.
maybe a bit of an observation? And that is that whilst I like all the work that's been done in relation to trying to attract new members, one of the problems that we're seeing is that we've had quite a significant reduction in membership numbers in only the sort of first 4 months of this year. And when I look at the dashboard numbers for the entire district, this seems to be replicated across the district, not just for Central Division. Now, Central Division is in probably a little bit more of a fortunate position in that our clubs are actually meeting in person, but we're still seeing a significant reduction in membership numbers, or more importantly, it's the retention of members. Is this something that is being addressed at a district/region level? Because I think it's sort of, it's got a broader concern for me. It's not just sort of seem to be just sort of within one division. It seems to be happening across the board. Now, COVID's an easy sort of excuse for it, but I wonder whether there's anything else that's more fundamental to it. And while I'm saying that, I wonder whether or not Pathways is part of that problem as well, in that it may be actually pushing people away because of the perceived complications of the system rather than it making it easier. Just your thoughts.
Karl, I'll hand that over to you.
Yeah, look, it is a little bit of a melting pot at the moment, Nick. As you've mentioned, COVID is a big issue, and the stats that you've given about reduction is happening globally. It's not just in our district, it's happening globally, and it's happening for other organizations, not just what's happening in Toastmasters. Pathways, yes, there's probably going to be a transition period where some people, particularly those who may have been in Toastmasters for a long time, are very comfortable with the traditional, the legacy system, and they're just not going to move across to the new system. And Toastmasters International was well aware of that was going to happen. But at the same time, you've got to jump in at some point because there's new, younger people. I mean, for Pathways, you may not say it's perfect, but as I say myself, I've used systems even in the corporate world that are far from perfect as well, particularly among not-for-profits. I sometimes shake my head with Facebook when I'm trying to work around that. Some of the younger people might be great with it, but I struggle with some of the things there because it doesn't seem to be intuitive. So nothing's perfect, but I get a lot of questions, well, not comments really, when we talk about manuals or show a manual from a young member who's joined the club saying, wow, you were still using paper manuals like a year ago or 2 years ago or something like that, because they want the online. So we do need to transition across. And it comes back to, I think, of what I talked about in that concept, that metaphor before. It's not just the pathways, the tools, it's having the roof, the four walls, the focus on the members, all these sort of things need to be working like an orchestra. They all need to be working together to make a club successful that will retain members, and members will always go. Sometimes they don't want to go, but they have to because they lose a job or they have, as a family, they have a baby or whatever. And that's happened in our club. That will always happen, but it's attracting new members in. You've got to have that flow. It's just like any other business. And if we've got good, solid clubs that are promoting well, we're going to draw that in, particularly in Victoria. Once we start getting back out into the community physically rather than virtually, I think we're going to have quite a run on people who are in work, wanting to advance their career, but also people who have lost their jobs, who are wanting to upskill, and being able to influence and speak is such an important thing for them to get jobs and do well in jobs, but also people who want that social contact after being away for so long. And it is going to require a bit of a campaign of promotion and quality. That's why I'm always talking about quality with clubs, because again, as district leaders, and Nick, you're one in South Australia there, you cannot do this all yourself. We need to rally the troops around us to be able to do that. And we all do it together. We all share the load, and we're all got the same messages, the same standard of quality. People will start to notice that and come in. So that's my thoughts on it.
Thank you so much, Karl, and thanks for the question, Nick. We've now reached 1:15, so I'll hand back to Namrita to close out this meeting. Please welcome Namrita.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Such a stellar session. A warm virtual hug and a loud applaud to all our Town Hall supporters and contributors. And more than anything, a big shout out to all our fellow Toastmasters who have attended this virtually, sitting in your homes or probably, a park under the sun. Being present in person and attending events is one thing, and having the dedication to attend events virtually while you are sitting alone by yourself are two different things. And the latter one definitely requires way more dedication to a cause or an organization. So you attending this virtually is way more appreciated by the district, and I hope each one of you knows it. So a massive thank you on behalf of the entire district executive team. Our next town hall will be on 6th of November, which is a Sunday, of course, as promised. Same time, same place, by which I mean same Zoom meeting link. And lastly, this time around, I would like to close the meeting with a small message that I hope is thought-provoking. So Morgan Freeman, one of my favorite actors, has said this, that this is one of the truths of universe, and you heard it first from here. That's what he said. Whatever we decide we want to do is what we do. And with this thought, we now close our town hall session for today. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and have a gorgeous rest of the Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Namrita.
Thanks, Karl. Thanks, Neha.
It was a lovely session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you, Namrita.
Guys.
Josh, how are you?
Much.
I'm good. Thank you, Karl. Thanks, Karl.
Thank you. Thank you for attending.